Good morning, folks. It is 9 a.m., 9:09 a.m., and we're gonna do a little day in the life today. It is Monday. I am supposed to be in class right now. I'll fix my attendance after Thanksgiving. We're currently in the Monday before Thanksgiving. I am not in game mode right now, okay? But hopefully that will be changing. We'll see. Let's see, there's a lot happening this week, today, all the above. School-wise, I do need to catch up a little bit on some textbook reading that I've been putting off for weeks. Go me. I also need to catch up on the lectures I've been skipping. Big win. I'm sure I have some assignments I need to do, or at least I'd like to do early before I go home for the Thanksgiving break. And honestly, as the day goes on, I'll probably find other stuff that I need to do because that's usually how it happens. I also have a video I need to film besides this one that we're filming right now. And I have a couple writing goals-ish I want to hit. They're not really goals, I guess, but they're hopeful plans. Let's call it that. First of all, in the winter retreat Discord, it is currently Share Your Book Blurb week. This is an event I set up so I could write book blurbs, or like, you know, the back of the book for both Project Glass and Project Moss, because I've been meaning to do that, and now that there is public pressure, I will hopefully do that. The only book blurb I've ever written was for Project What. I do enjoy that blurb as well. I feel like it really fits the story. It helped me streamline the story as well, which I think is very fun, and like helped me find the ultimate through line of the book, because before I had written the blurb, the book was very convoluted, and now it is less so. So that it was helpful, but it is such a struggle for me to write blurbs like that. So yeah, hopefully this public pressure will get me to do it. But we will see. We will see. I'm not doing that right now. Right now, we are going to start with physics, I think. I'm gonna work on physics for a little bit, and then we're gonna switch locations because I'm gonna need coffee. Cool. Been 2 hours exactly. That's very fun. And I have gotten through a good-ish amount of notes. And I just realized this notebook, this digital notebook, because of how I've organized my notes, I have the actual lecture notes in here. I have my lab everything in here. My lab notes, my lab worksheets, my lab like derivations that I needed for later. And I have the textbook pages in here for when I need them. It has passed 1,000 pages, this notebook. We are at 1,064 pages right now. And it's about to get longer because I have to add more of the textbook. But I was like, ew, how? That's too much information, frankly. But yeah, over 1,000 pages in this notebook. I kinda hate that. Kinda hate that. But anyways, now we're gonna switch up locations, I think. I want to go to a coffee shop. I want to write a little while I'm there, so I might start with that, because I have been loving Project Glass lately. Like last night, I stayed up until 2 in the morning writing. I finished chapter 4 last night before going to bed. I'm just having fun. I'm just having fun with it. We're really still in the main setup scenes. I'm starting chapter 5 today, and I think after chapter 5, we're sort of out of setting up the two main characters in the town and like the circumstances they're in. We're actually like getting the ball rolling, kind of, where things are starting to happen more than just like establishing things. And that's gonna be fun, because once that starts, it is just straight downhill for these characters, which I am very excited to write, because I love writing when things go wrong. It's so fun. But anyways, I'm going to pack everything up. We're gonna go to a coffee shop. We're gonna get some good work done. I'm gonna try and finish these notes, but I do not want to write another equation right now. We'll see. We'll see. Wish me luck. Okay, hello. I'm aware you can't see me yet. One moment. It is 7 p.m. now, and I have just returned from a little like study hangout thing with a couple of my classmates that we actually didn't end up doing much there, but it's a nice little like social break. I enjoyed it. I'm definitely not complaining about just yapping with people. Hi, I'm here. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, but didn't get much done. Also, this lighting is gonna be scary, I apologize. And I am very tired for absolutely no reason. So I've prepared myself an entire to-go soup container's worth of matcha because I have a lot left that I still want to do today. And this will help me do that. I had meant to work more on physics while I was out than I actually ended up doing. So we're gonna do a little bit of that. That is such better lighting. I still have a set of notes that I need to finish, and I need to read more of the textbook. I have a lot of the textbook to catch up on. I do need to watch some lecture videos as well for a different class, but I don't know if I'm gonna get to that. We'll see. Anyways, that's what we're gonna do. Let's see, in terms of writing, today went quite well, I will say. I do want to get a little bit more in. I wanted to write 1,500 words today. I got about 1,300. Not terrible. And I have almost finished chapter 5. I say almost because both scenes are technically down, but the first scene in the chapter needs more. One of the main characters needs to be established in that chapter, and none of that happened, so I'm still writing that chapter. If I survive physics, I'm gonna try and finish this scene before going to sleep as well, but that will really depend on whether or not physics absolutely cooks my brain between now and, let's say, 10 o'clock. But I had so much fun writing this chapter, what I have of this chapter. It was extremely slow at first, I'll be honest. I was chugging along. I don't even know if that's the right term. I was kind of just like army crawling, messily, it wasn't going great, okay? Words were coming very slowly. It took multiple minutes to try and come up with the next sentence for a long time, where I was just trying to figure out how to set up this scene and provide the information that I wanted in the scene, because I don't know if you guys watched my outlining vlog for this, but this book is so character dense and it depends so heavily on the characters' motivations and their morals and their actions, that everything needs to be placed in the story exactly where I outlined it, or it's not going to work. So for the past couple of scenes, I've had to go back and make sure I added certain information to make sure that I had set up the characters correctly, or else like their next scene wouldn't make as much sense, or their next scene would seem like forced or something. And that was happening a lot with the second scene in chapter 5. It's a big scene for one of my main characters, where we see a lot of who she is. We see a lot of how she's coping with what's happening in the town, and get some foreshadowing into what the rest of her arc is looking like. And it's a really crucial setup scene for the rest of her in the book. And because of that, I wanted to make sure I got everything right, accurate, well laid out. And that took a long time to sort of get the ball rolling. The first few paragraphs that I wrote in the scene were rough, and I kept deleting them and I kept starting over. And I was like, I want to introduce this, but I don't want it to be like awkward or like forced or something. I'm sure the beginning of the scene is still kind of rough, but eventually I got my footing, and it built this character's characterization a lot more than I expected, which is always appreciated. I feel like it gave more depth to what she's doing, why she's doing it. Okay, I can explain this part. She's very adamant about preserving her town, about preserving the people that have been in it, because they've dealt with so much loss that it seems like at this rate she's gonna lose everyone she knows, everyone she loves, and she doesn't want to remember them for the creatures they become, the monsters they become. She wants to remember them by the people that she knew, the people she had made memories with, and she's obsessed with that. She is obsessed with preserving these people, preserving her town, preserving these memories that she has. Now in this scene, we see a couple chapters before that she's obsessed with this, that it's literally like taking over her life. But in this chapter 5, we finally see that it's kind of like a coping mechanism with her grief, that she's sort of like collecting these people to feel like they're still here, and to keep her self sane almost. I did write a little note in here that I was like, maybe I'm just shoving this character's philosophy and what makes her up down the reader's throat, and it's overdone, or I'm just very strongly reinforcing everything and really giving this character a full round out. I'm not sure. That's for revision. But right now, I do really like how I set up why she does what she does. It really, really works. I feel like if I didn't execute it very well in the scene, once again, I don't know until I'll do the reread, but if I didn't, I do want to keep this reason, because it just makes sense. So I had a lot of fun with that. Got some good characterization. I added some more depth to the character that I felt was already pretty deep, but this just gives her more of a reason to do what she's doing. The prose isn't too bad, maybe. Once again, at the beginning, it's kind of jarring because I was trying to find my footing, but I think later on it gets better, hopefully. But that is the second of 2 scenes in chapter 5. The first one still needs to be worked on. It's probably a third of the way written right now, and I still don't know what I'm doing with that scene, so we'll have to figure that out later. Right now, we are going to work on physics because I need to. Finals are quickly approaching and I am scared. So we're gonna attempt to lock in. I'm gonna drink more matcha and see where the night takes us. Okay, hello, quick update because my camera is dying. I have adopted a new strategy for studying. I have printed out all of the lectures that I need for this upcoming midterm. I will be using these to study. So not going to read the textbook, I don't think. It's gonna be really time consuming. And I am instead going to go off of this, and if I do need more clarification, I will look in the textbook, but I'm not gonna go through the entire thing, the entire amount of reading that I need to. I'll be focusing more on these. I have this much matcha left in my bucket, and I do believe it has begun to work. Feeling a little more energized. A little more. I can still go to sleep right now if I wanted to, but the urge has been dampened. Maybe. And with that, we are going to move on. We're going to move on from schoolwork because I'm going to use the notes later. That's a little bit better lighting. It's only 9:30, which isn't bad. I'm probably gonna go to bed kind of early though. But either I write right now or I pack right now. Probably smarter to pack. I should probably do that. Okay. I am pretty much, I turned on more lights now because I needed to grab everything. But I'm pretty much set for tomorrow. A lot of stuff I can't pack up yet because I still need it tomorrow morning. So now we're on to the fun part. We're on to the fun part of the rest of the day, and that is Project Glass. My main goal is to finish chapter 5. I just want to finish that scene that just, you know, needs some jazzing up. And maybe, possibly, start chapter 6. We will see. I'm very much in limbo between being ready to go to sleep right now and also continuing to work on stuff. So we'll see which one ends up winning, but I do want to finish this scene first. And I don't know if any of the people here right now remember this, but I remember in a previous vlog from well over a year ago, I had talked about this, this docu-series on Disney Plus, Into the Unknown, the making of Frozen 2. It is literally a behind-the-scenes docu-series of them making the entire movie, from writing the script, getting feedback on it, all while animating, writing the songs, like everything for Frozen 2. I learned about it in a video critiquing Frozen 2, and them sort of referencing this as like to show that they were on such a time crunch, the creators of Frozen 2, and they were working literally against the clock to create this movie. And like that was probably one of the main factors as to why Frozen 2 ended up sort of half-baked. And that piqued my interest. The idea that this movie had an entire docu-series dedicated to its creation. And I checked it out. And I think I've watched it at least 10 times all the way through. Anytime I just need creation, inspiration to just keep pushing through a creative process, I put it on. Obviously, I'm not on as big of a time crunch as they were, and I'm not as stressed, but seeing these people go through day in and day out creating this movie is very motivating, So I've been watching that while I write before going to sleep, and we're gonna do that again right now. Once again, hopefully finish this scene in chapter 5, maybe start chapter 6, and hit 1,500 words for today. Let's do it. Let's do it! Let's go. That's the most I've written in one day for this project so far, I'm pretty sure. Big win. You can't see my whole thumb. Big win. Okay, hello guys. It is midnight. I had a little snack, feel good, but I'm about to go sleep. Let's see, besides having a snack, I also finished chapter 5. Yay! The scene isn't crazy long, it's like 600 words, but none of the scenes are really that long in this book. Every chapter seems to be hovering around 1,500 words, a little more, a little less, which is honestly what I expect from this book. I'm assuming it'll stay pretty short. This time around, I'm thinking short remains around 35 to 40,000 words. If you watched my Project Star videos, you would know I constantly overwrote my projected total in all 3 books. So that could very much happen with Project Glass. And it low-key might, because these chapters are getting bigger and bigger as we go. But I am thinking right now it'll probably be around 35 or 40,000 words. Not huge. Not huge. It's a relatively short book, fast-paced book, but the scene I wanted to get done is done. She's cute. She's silly. Just like the scene I was talking about before, it, like the second scene in the chapter, this one also, I think, reinforces who this character is. It really gives us insight into how she thinks. The other sister. They both have their own scene in this chapter. Yes, but I feel like it really gives insight into how she thinks, how she's trying to cope with the town circumstances. Really, now that I think about it, like in this moment, I feel like it shows how they're pretty almost opposites in how they approach this issue. The older sister approaches it with the idea that she needs to escape the issue, and the younger sister approaches it with the idea that she needs to find the good in the issue, try and work her way like inside out in a sense with what's going on, and learn to like accept it as a permanent part of her life, and almost in a way embrace it in a sense. Kind of. My brain isn't fully on mode. So if none of this makes sense, I apologize. But I didn't even realize that until I started speaking. That's pretty fun. But chapter 5 really does give a lot of insight into how these two characters think and how that differs from one another, which I really like. That's really cool. Okay, I feel like in the story we're very rooted in the characters. It's a very, I feel like intimate's a weird word, but like kind of, it's a very intimate book where you feel fully immersed in these characters' lives, more so than my other projects, which focus, I would say, a little bit more on the worlds that they live in. The worlds really shape who the characters are and what they can do, and not to say that that's not what is happening in Project Glass. The world is very much shaping and limiting their options, but I feel like how they navigate through the world in this is so much more dedicated to their character than my other books. And that's just a characteristic of this story. And because of that, they feel very real to me. I can emphasize that. We'll see if they feel real to other people eventually. I was gonna say soon. I don't know if it's going to be with this draft. Upon completion, I'll make that decision. But yeah, it's such a character-driven story. I feel like I don't know. I don't know how to describe it without making my other stories sound like they're these soulless, plot-driven stories. They're not, I promise. They're very character-driven. Hi, this is editing me. I was kind of talking in circles in this part of the video, and I feel like I didn't make much sense, so I just wanted to clarify. The difference between like Project Glass and like Project What or Project Star is really how the world affects the story. For Project What and Project Star, it's more so the world that shapes the characters, and due to whatever environment they're living in, nuclear, wasteland, island, thing, or space, those are your two options, that dictates to a certain degree who these people are. While for Project Glass, it's more so the characters that are shaping the world. In Project Glass, the circumstances that they are in their town, didn't develop until the last 2 years. So 2 years previous to present is when the bad things begin to start. So these people have, existed as normal as you and I for the whole time up until 2 years ago. So they've become their own people, and then bam, here's a horror movie, I guess. And there's a whole thing where they're like just trying to keep living their lives like it's not even happening. They're just doing their thing. So it's very much the characters shaping the world and how we see the world. My projects that have bigger, more like expansive worlds, there's a lot more emphasis on how the world is shaping the characters. Hopefully that makes more sense. I don't know. Editing me out. I don't know what I'm rambling about anymore, but I am enjoying this book a lot. And I have hit 7,500 words in the draft, which is a lot more than I thought I would get. Last night, I thought I went to sleep with 5,000 words in the draft. Maybe I had a little more. I think maybe I went to sleep closer to 6,000 because I did stay up pretty late yesterday writing. I think I talked about that already. I've just been pulled, very pulled to work on this book lately. Like lately as in like the last 3 days. I don't know, I'm just like, I really want to write right now. Even if I can't think of any like words and I'm not actually like typing and I'm just staring at the page and like hoping to find a good line to put down, I'm finding that I'm not getting distracted as easily even though I am stuck. Even though I'm not actually writing much, I'm not really looking away from the screen. I'm constantly like thinking about the project and trying to figure out what to put next instead of being like, I'll just scroll on TikTok for 2 hours. I mean, I felt that way, I think, kind of in certain parts for Project Star, but it's been months since I've finished drafting Project Star, so it's been months since I felt like this, and it's so great. I love drafting. 10 out of 10, love it. Anyways, after that ramble, I am going to call it a night. This was a very strange little day in my life. I feel like it's more of a writing vlog than it was a day in my life vlog, but it is a day long, so take that with what you will. Today I felt very productive despite a like 3-hour break where I just hung out with some classmates, but I think that was a warranted break. I still felt like I got a very good amount of work done. I am honestly so ready to go to sleep. So thank you so much for watching. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Let me know how your writing's going or how life is going. Clearly writing for me is going a lot better than I really anticipated. I thought this book was going to be a bit more of a struggle to write than it actually is. Not to say that it isn't being a little bit of a struggle to get the words out, but once the words get out, we're flowing. It's nice. But yeah, let me know how your project's going, how you're doing in the comments, and hope to see you in the next one. Peace.